You're listening to The Fellas with Anthony McCoy,
Listen, man, that wasn't my fault. It was an unknown error.
Rich Thurston,
Someone said it was like the Bulls never changed their passwords, and Tibbs just popped in and did an auto trade.
Kev Lund,
We're out here doing this podcast, and these fools are out here blowing Super Bowls. Like, let's switch that up. Pay me a cool million, and I'll call the right place. I promise you.
and Kyle Straub.
When one of those point guards is James Harden, yes, the answer is yes, they are a better team.
Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you with us for another week. The NFL Week 1 in the books. Well, for the most part, got the Monday night games going on while we do the podcast. We'll probably talk about them a little bit. It is odd to see Adrian Peterson in a different uniform. We'll get into it in a minute, though, because we had to put a conversation on pause right before we got on air. We were talking Cowboys, Giants. The Giants were absolutely terrible last night, only able to put up 3 points. And then we got into Ezekiel Elliott because, Kev, you have him on one of your teams, so you stayed up all night to watch the game, see if you could get the points that you could get. And McCoy chimed in and said he shouldn't even be playing. Rich, you posed the question to him. You want to ask it again now?
Why shouldn't he be playing?
Anthony?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like it's all a waste of time and the same thing we just went through with Tom Brady. So, if they're going to get the suspension, the court gets it taken away, then he's going to go and the NFL is going to get it reinstated. So it's just going to be the same back and forth crap again.
It's like delaying the inevitable, right, McCoy? Just get it over
Yeah,
with.
exactly. Like, I don't think personally he should be suspended, but we've already gone through this. It's the same story.
That's where I got confused because I thought you meant like he should be suspended.
Oh, no, he absolutely shouldn't.
Yeah, I was with you, Rich. I thought the same thing.
Okay, yeah. I don't think he should be suspended, but will he be in that at the end of the day? I think absolutely. Whether
So
it's
I
4
think-
games or less than 6, but he's getting something.
I think you're right, but shouldn't he at least get his due process, go through the system, and see if his lawyers can find a way to make a case enough to say, hey, look, this was an unjust ruling, you need to reverse it? Or like you just said, even if they get it reduced, is that not better than just taking the full 6 games?
Well, I think the Cowboys just want to do it in general because they, probably and maybe rightfully so, think they can do something special this year. So why, if they get it pushed back to next year, that's better. But yeah, obviously he needs his due process, but I feel like it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, what do you guys think of this? Because this was one of my first thoughts when they were talking about the suspension and him getting the stays and all this kind of stuff. What if he does get suspended at some point this year, but it's like, say, week 8 through 14. So he misses the second little bit of the first half of the season and then the beginning of the second half. Is that not better for the Cowboys? Like, hey, listen, thanks for getting us to the point we are right now. Go ahead, rest up, and when we get to the playoffs, fresh legs.
It just
I think
depends what their record is, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You're assuming that they're going to be.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they're going to be in first place doing
up,
what they need to do because they
coasting.
handled business last night against the Giants.
And you're giving their number one back fresh legs, but if they're not, you know what I mean? If that was just because they did only score. I know that was the Giants' defense, but I get it. I get where you're going. You're assuming that they're going to be, locking up shit and giving their running back fresh legs. It's cool, but what if they're not?
I think
Yeah.
I would be pissed if it was weeks 8 to 14 of the season. Like, I think I'd rather have him gone 1 through 6 and then come back when everyone else is tired. Like,
Yeah,
8 through
that's what
14,
everybody's
what's
yelling.
the best
you
you
think
can
8 through
be?
14 is too late in the season?
Yeah, 8 through 14, you're what? If you don't have a bye, the best you can be is 6-0. Like, you can still not make the playoffs in those next few weeks.
The season doesn't start till Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right. So he's missing
Yeah,
all
I
the
mean,
important
like, yeah,
end
good
of
point.
game seasons at that point.
But that's not true because we were just talking about it last night. The Giants and Cowboys play each other twice in the first 3 weeks. Those are huge divisional games, and he's being able to play in those because he's not suspended for these first 6. Obviously, he had an impact last night, over 100 yards. Did he have a touchdown, Kev?
No,
I don't think
so.
he got in the
No,
end zone. He just had 100 yards. Still an
he had
impact
some
in the game,
receiving
and
yards.
it influences and helps the Cowboys win it. So if he's not in for those 6, is that more important?
Him his running game is what gets Cole Beasley and everybody else going, man. I mean, it opened once they were feeding him the rock. He didn't even have to. He had like 30 yards, but Jason Witten scored a touchdown. Like the play action was there. It makes Dak. Like I like Dak, but I don't think Dak is Dak without Zeke. So Zeke is affecting so much that that's why they got all those appeals going, and that's why he's on the field.
Just one correction. They don't play the Giants again until December 10th. When we were talking about it last night, I thought you meant like ABC, NBC games.
Oh, okay. They have another night game.
Yeah, they have another night game.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, that is the stupidest idea from the NFL. That's why I also threw out, is it a conspiracy that Rodgers is trying to screw him? Because I thought he saw the schedule and was like, let's put these two early, and I'm going to suspend Zeke.
Yeah, they don't play again until
Okay,
December.
that makes sense.
I wouldn't have been surprised though, because the NFL does do some dumb scheduling and stuff like that.
Slimy Roger.
Yeah,
Well, I
bad
mean-
scheduling, bad commissioner.
It gets everybody, the Cowboys Giants gets everybody fired up. So they're leaning on that for that Sunday night opener every year. But eventually, it's gonna get like white noise. It's gonna get stale. Like they got to change that up.
Yeah, I think, 3 years now in a row, people are going to start catching on. The first 2 years, you don't really notice. By that third year, obviously, everybody knew because tweets were being sent out and stuff about it.
That's the
So I'm sure
biggest
you'll see a
rivalry
different
in
game next
football, right?
I don't know.
Like, what's a bigger game the NFL could matchup the NFL could start with on like their big first, Monday Sunday night game? Besides that, like,
I mean, if you
Pat
live in the
Steelers.
Baltimore, I was going to say if you live in the Baltimore,
yeah,
Pittsburgh,
but
area,
not
the
like
Ravens, Steelers.
I'm not talking about like regionally or like fan base wise, just like nationally. Like, what's the biggest
I mean,
matchup?
I'd rather watch the
Ravens.
Ravens Steelers than the Cowboys Giants.
Back a couple years ago.
The Ravens and Steelers have been more relevant, and I think they're both going to be relevant this year. That Ravens defense looked really nasty yesterday.
They did, but that rivalry was good. Like maybe 5 to 10 years ago was when it was really good. I wouldn't want to watch it now.
I'd say like 7 to 10 was the peak. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, right when Terrell Suggs got drafted, when he was new. Bart
Hines
Scott
Ward
still
was
with the
there laying
Ravens.
people out in Pittsburgh. Back
Yeah, those two
then, Joey
defenses
Porter.
going at it.
Joey Porter.
Yep.
Yeah, back then.
So-
but I guess, you would have to say that that's the biggest rivalry in football, national. I mean, I couldn't.
But the NFL walks around like no matter what they put on. They like, I don't know, it's football. I mean, people will watch whatever that Sunday night game is, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Look at what Thursday nights are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Thursday
I
night
mean-
games are garbage, but people still tune in and watch them.
Yeah, but the ratings are dropping, and as much as they're going to tell you it's because of the protest, that's not the reason. So, I mean, they can feel like they can put on whatever and people will watch it, but that's obviously not the case.
Well, I'm saying that's a them problem. Like they need to stop walking around like that. Then.
They sort of walk around like their shit doesn't stink and they can do anything they want, and it's not their fault, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good old Roger.
So back to the Giants-Cowboys game. We all picked the Giants to, I think, either be division winners. I even have them going to the Super Bowl. I know you're not supposed to overreact after week one, and I'm not going to overreact, but
It's overreaction
kinda-
Monday, man.
did we
what
kind of
your
put the
team
Giants
sucks.
a little bit too high? Did we think that their hype was too big, or does Odell mean that much to that offense?
It's funny because I was going to bring this up before the season started about them, and they're like the only NFL team I've seen like lately or ever. Like their whole team is built on wide receivers, and with Odell out of there, Eli didn't look at Brandon Marshall. They're newly hyped. Evan Ingram got a couple looks, not much. I think they're planning their team in the wrong way, and you can see in their offensive line and their running backs, it's trash.
Yeah, their offensive line is really bad because part of the reason that Eli couldn't pass is the Cowboys were only rushing 4 all night long. I saw a stat where they only blitzed 7 times the entire game. They were just dropping people back, blanket coverage.
And yeah, their tackles. I mean, and they're both. I think what are they? Both former first rounders too, and they're like revolving doors, man. Swiss cheese.
Yeah, it's tough to move the ball if you can't block, regardless of who's on the field. So, I mean, Odell's definitely, I think he'll help open things up a lot for them because you have to, he can score on any play. So, That's this week 1 too, so I think they'll get it together and start getting it moving better. Especially once he gets
It's
back
going to
on
be
the field.
interesting come contract time because this is absolutely a leverage point for Odell Beckham. He's a free agent at the end of the season. He can point to this game and say, look what I wasn't in versus look what I am in if they start winning versus that game, which was a disaster. Just 3 points is the only person that did worse was the Bengals throwing up a goose egg.
Well, you know what the problem is the Giants just have too much Jets trash on that roster, and there's just you just start to sprinkle a little bit of that shittiness in there. Look what happens, man. The Jets outscored the Giants. Who would have predicted that?
He still got in the end zone once.
Listen, the Jets took care of business.
McCown QB sneak,
lost
man.
game. We
Outscored
lost
the
game
Giants.
number 1 of the season. We got 14 more to go. We're in good shape.
You're going to lose 15 more because you're going 0-16.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, actually, as I was saying that, we may need to because one of the games that I did get to see yesterday was the Panthers 49ers game. Oh, man.
Lucky you.
San Francisco is bad.
Did you see how
Yeah.
rusty Cam looked in that game?
Yeah, he looked real bad. He overthrew a bunch of people, but he didn't really play at all in the preseason because
No,
of the,
that's what I'm saying.
the shoulder surgery. Yeah.
Because of that, he came back. He had a touchdown. Ed Dixon was wide open, overthrew him. There was about 5 or 6 throws, but he got locked in the second half. But it was
Yeah.
interesting to see. But yeah, the Niners looked terrible, dude. And then their big first rounder Reuben Foster got hurt, and that was the one knock on him why he dropped to the last pick in the first round was he was fragile. And he's out there spraining ankles in his
Living up to
debut.
the hype.
Soft out there. McCaffrey got the ball a good amount of times. He had 13 carries. And,
It seemed
he
like they were
fumbled, though.
force feeding him the
Did he?
ball at times.
He coughed
Yeah.
up the rock.
Yeah. Well, they knew they were playing the 49ers also, so why not get him involved and try to get him some big plays to get his confidence up? I wouldn't have
True.
played Cam
So-
the whole game if I was the Panthers, honestly. Why play him
So
when you're up that
living
big?
here, though, McCoy, I heard an interesting take on why he looks so rusty, why he wasn't played, and why McCaffrey got so many touches. It was the 49ers, and even though the Panthers will never admit it, they were probably looking at the schedule going, man, that's another preseason game. We can kind of push everybody back a week, get some more work, and get it at game speed in that first week, and then get things going there in week 2 when the Bills come into town.
Man, everybody looked like the preseason, dude. Fantasy defenses were killing it across the league with scoring, just because there were so many interceptions and so many fumbles. Week 1
So-
offenses, man.
One of the defenses that surprised me, it didn't surprise Rich, though. He told us earlier in the week that the Brownies were only going to give up 24 to the Steelers.
Yeah, their
called him a
defense is
liar.
good.
Yeah, I called you a liar. I said the Steelers were going to drop 35 on them, and we were both wrong. They only gave up 21 to the Steelers. When I was getting ready for this, I thought it was funny because everybody in this chat with the teams that you guys are claiming, the Browns, Bucks, and me with and Kev with the Jets, nobody's team won this week, but everybody is happy. That's pretty pitiful on our part.
Well, the Bucks didn't play, so
Yeah,
I'm
but
not happy.
You
I
didn't
don't think they're
lose.
too happy.
You were happy with the way the Browns performed.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm not happy. Like, you're happy that they lost. I'm not happy that they lost.
All right, different types of happy, different types of satisfied, I guess.
The Browns went out there and did exactly what I thought they'd do. They kept the game close. They played really good defense, and they lost because they made a couple of dumb, young mistakes. They had their first punt of the game blocked and was picked up for a touchdown. So if that doesn't happen, they win the game. They let Antonio Brown get 2 deep passes on him, one
Hit
at the end of the half.
182 yards.
11
Yeah.
grabs, too.
But they shut down Bell.
Yeah, Le'Veon didn't do a damn thing against him.
Yeah, he had like
He didn't
40
play in
total
the
yards.
preseason either, though.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
his
He's a
first
running back.
preseason game, too.
He's a running back, though. He ain't a quarterback.
Listen.
Just get out there and run, man.
Listen, that Browns defense is what happened to him.
Man, I wish
Nothing to do.
as a Jets fan, I wish I could be in Rich's shoes after a loss. Young, optimistic. Our quarterback's 38.
I
QB
found
sneak,
out.
the only score of the game.
I found out yesterday during the game that they have the Houston Texans first and second round pick next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when the Browns, that's what I was talking about when I said I don't know how in the hell that trade worked out for the Browns the way it did. when they traded and got Brock Osweiler, the Browns sent a third pick to the Texans, got a first, a second, and Brock. And it basically was the Texans saying, listen, we'll give you a first and a second. Just please take this dude in his contract from
It was
us.
an NBA trade in the NFL because the Browns had $80 million in cap space and they weren't going to use it. So why not get 2 draft picks for taking on $18 million of, if you got 80 mil, 18 ain't nothing, man.
And then they cut him because as soon as they got Kaiser and they saw him in training camp, they were like, listen, we're going to go with this kid. Let's get rid of Osweiler. We'll take the hit this season, but we're free of him next year.
They bought the picks, basically.
Yeah. So that gives them essentially 12 for the next 4 years. They've got 48 picks for some crazy shit like that, right?
Yeah. They had to give that third pick because the NFL has some rule about exchanging picks for like money like that because that's what it would have been looked at.
Yeah.
So they had to give up that third round pick.
He was so bad that they didn't even qualify him in the trade. You can't just trade this for money.
We see what
this
you're
isn't
doing.
even apply. They might as well give him a bag of footballs to use in there. That would have been more valuable than Brock.
Cash consideration.
The Will Ferrell movie when they play basketball and they trade somebody for a dryer.
Jackie Moon.
Got traded for a dryer, so.
So, Rich, because you watched that game, were you impressed with Kaiser? Not really. What were your thoughts?
He was a rookie. He made some nice throws. He had a nice drive, but he got sacked 7 times, right?
But part of that, just because I know my brother's a Notre Dame fan, is that used to be a problem in Notre Dame too, because he kind of scrambles a lot.
Well, I think the issue there, I was reading today that his average time to throw was 3.8 seconds. So I don't think you can put that on the offensive line. So
you got to get the ball out quicker.
Yeah. So and then he threw a pick where he was just a rookie. He made some nice plays, he made some bad plays. It doesn't help that he has terrible wide receivers.
Yeah, they have nobody to throw to.
Kenny Britt was signed in the offseason, and he's just
big drop.
Yeah,
you saw Hugh Jackson called him out in the media on that. I just read the article, called him out for that. So they can't do that with our young quarterback back there.
Maybe they should have signed somebody better than Kenny Britt then. That guy sucks.
I think Coleman will be good. He's just young.
He had a touchdown. Yeah. He saw it.
But don't overlook
the running
that
back isn't good either.
Yeah, they got Isaiah.
No, I was telling Rich not to overlook the interception because it was his boy.
Who?
TJ Watt.
Oh, he was making plays.
2 sacks and that. Yeah, he was like, what are they doing, that family, bro?
I don't know. That was crazy.
Steroids.
Out there just chopping wood at 4 years old.
Yeah, right.
Yo, I actually heard them on
really
NFL today talking about the Watt brothers, and the younger one had 2 sacks and an interception, which is something that JJ's never done in his career. So the younger brother already up in JJ.
Yeah,
JJ let him know too.
JJ only has 1 career
the
interception.
Watts don't act like that.
Not even to his brother though.
No, son.
I feel like if you have a brother and that's the one person you have to talk shit to.
Absolutely.
You guys do, but none of you guys act like JJ Watt.
Good.
Yeah.
Your boy.
And listen, if you hear this, I know he raised $20 million for Harvey. All right, good on
31.
him. But that doesn't mean he's not a corny ass, sucker ass person. All right.
Yeah.
I cannot like him.
You calling him a GT?
I mean,
The JT, man.
JT. Sucker.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah, watching this Monday night game and seeing Adrian Peterson in a Saints uniform is one of the strangest things I've seen on a football field in so long.
why?
Because I'm just used to seeing him in purple. 7 years, purple is no other color, just the Vikings. And every time they say his name, I expect to see a purple helmet pop up, and it's not.
And it's versus Minnesota, too, to make it even more weird.
Yeah, I think that's what's really tripping me up the most about it.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. That stuff happens all the
Yeah,
time.
it's sports. It's weird.
No,
though.
yeah, it does. It's just weird. That's all.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, but
Every once in a while, one of those kind of catch you.
I mean that's why you don't like. I mean, the NFL, of course, they're gonna let the dude go, but that's why I like the Mavs, keeping Dirk, paying Dirk the money. I guess they didn't really pay him, but the Lakers keeping Kobe kind of contract.
He's paying them at this point.
Yeah, yeah, but you get that type of player that is your franchise player. Like Peterson was the face of the Vikings since he got there.
All 10 years. Yeah, it was a decade.
It's so hard to do that in the NFL, though.
Yeah, but it's not like Peterson sucks now. Who did the Vikings get rid of him for?
Dalvin Cook, who
and
if
Latavius Murray.
I mean,
Right, and Cook has 6 carries for 7 yards right now. So, I mean,
and then they
So
signed
they-
Latavius Murray to a big deal in the offseason.
yeah, they got both of those dudes.
And they're not going to do.
isn't
they
he hurt
probably-
already?
Yeah, well, he had ankle surgery, so he's not even playing.
Oh, good pickup there. The Vikings are just one of those teams. I feel like they have those years where they're supposed to be good. Their defense will get them some wins and have them in the conversation of making the playoffs, but they just never put it together and get over
At
that.
the end of the day, Sam Bradford's your quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is his jersey so big on him?
Right?
Yo, I was thinking that when I saw it earlier. Like, why does he is the only one who has that 1960 look to
He
him?
looks like he's constantly in the NFL films.
You got the Tarkenton jersy on.
Yeah,
out
that
there.
shit is wild to me.
With Mitchell and
It's
Ness.
so big.
Everybody else got Nike jerseys, and he's got a Mitchell and Ness.
His shit says champs.
Oh man, I think Denver's quarterback has that too. We'll see later though.
Simeon?
I'm not
Or
sure. Yeah,
Lynch?
Simeon. I think. I'm not positive. He's kind of got like the Jake Plummer thing going on.
Oh, Jake Plummer.
Jesus.
Jesus out there. Slanging.
Did anyone cost themselves more money coming from college to the pros than Sam Bradford?
Cost themselves?
Yeah, because if he should have just went to the NFL. Instead, he stayed and got his collarbone broken.
Yeah, again, right? That
Yeah,
wasn't
but-
even the first
The
time.
funny thing is, he's still
But
the
wasn't-
highest paid rookie ever.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Sam Bradford was the last rookie to get one of those
Oh, was he?
guaranteed non-ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he made a ton of friggin' money.
He was the one that made
Well,
them
good for
change
him.
the rule because he kept getting hurt after getting that money.
Yeah,
Yup.
he kept breaking that collarbone and tearing that ACL.
Yeah.
Good for Sam then.
Yeah.
Yeah, teams are still out there giving him a chance.
Still
Like, didn't he
starting,
get traded
too.
for a first-round pick last year?
Yes, he did. Because
That was a smart move, Philadelphia.
Bridgewater tore his knee in every way possible.
Oh,
They thought they were going
Is
to
he-
take his leg.
He still learn how to walk
Is he
again.
ever going to be able to play again? Has anybody heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about Texas.
He's been out
Texas now.
there. He's been on
Yeah.
like the practice. I guess he threw a couple passes, and then he's been out there like in training camp doing, but nothing in contact.
Yeah, right. He's just
Well, I
getting
remember-
back into it.
I remember when it
You would never
happened, they
touch
said
me
that it was
again.
like a 2-year injury if he were able to come back, but I just never heard an update on him.
Yeah, like they had to teach him how to walk again and stuff, I guess. Like,
That shit ain't worth it.
No.
Dude, 2 years.
and it's crazy
man?
because it's a non-contact injury. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
just
the
drop back to
craziest thing
throw.
is
Yeah, they had to have an ambulance come
he
pick
just
him
went.
up from the field, and all,
Yeah,
like you
it
said,
just
he almost lost
teammates
his
were,
leg.
like crying
so-
and shit.
Well, I mean, imagine being around to see or hear that happen.
Kyle saw me
Uh-uh.
dislocate my knee.
Yes, I did.
When you did it in gym?
Yeah.
That's no good.
Nah, I never want to
Nah,
see
that type of
something like
stuff.
that.
No,
I don't want to dislocate anything.
Doesn't really hurt.
Yeah, I'm still not trying to do it.
Oh
though.
yeah,
I'd
I'm
like
not.
to-
I'm not
I'd like to have my
suggesting it.
joints
I'm
stay
not
where
saying
they
you
are.
should go out and try it tonight.
Go give it a try.
Speaking of dislocations, how about your number one pick in fantasy, Sherrod,
Yeah.
dislocating his wrist?
Yeah.
Right.
And they said anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to like 8 to 12 weeks. So
Yeah, he
It's
was
up
my
in the air right now.
He was my first pick in the big money league I'm in too, Strob. So I feel your pain.
Well, at least ours isn't for money, just bragging rights.
Yeah, mine's for money, man. Yeah. So they asked. I was watching ESPN. They asked, where is his injury more impactful, to the Cardinals or to fantasy owners?
I'd be
I
pissed
think-
if I was Dennis Johnson and they asked that question.
Right? That's what I said. I was like, man, they're not even thinking about this boy's like life and how he feels right now.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
But to answer the question, I think fantasy.
Shut up, Kyle.
I'm glad he answered it.
Fantasy.
Your first round pick. That's why.
Listen, man, he's
speaking
about to
from the
lose
heart.
kept money.
He's about to lose himself money.
Yeah, he's only making like 600,000 this year.
That
He's
ain't
not on a
impacting me.
He's still on a
Let
rookie
someone
contract.
find out he can only bend his wrist like 70% of the way after this.
Yeah, like I don't know if I'm giving you a fourth year. That isn't even guaranteed anyway.
That's crazy.
So Jets go 0-1, Kev. I didn't get a chance to see it because I was working, but how gloriously awful did we look in that one?
So to put it this way, we were on "Come On Man" already. we made the countdown already. So we of course we make a good play. Justin Burris, a second-year D-back, picks off Tyrod in the end zone, and he's running it back, and he's either going to be deep into Bill's territory or take it to the house, and one of our guys gets blocked right into him, and down we go before the 50. And of course, it was led to another 3 and out. So our own man brings us down on a potential scoring play. So
Hey, it's better than the butt fumble again.
well, that's what they
Butt
compared.
fumble,
That's what they
yeah.
compared it
Everything
to.
is.
It brought up the butt fumble again on "Come On Man," so I was pissed.
No,
Only
so
the
I
Jets.
actually, side note real quick, I saw something worse than the butt fumble. The North Carolina Tar Heels got a false start penalty this weekend against Louisville when they were about to punt the ball because their lineman fell over. Nobody touched him. This cat just went to go put his hand in the ground and fell forward right onto his face. False start. Back him up 5 more yards. You gotta be freaking kidding me.
He was embarrassed as fuck. I bet.
You have to be.
How the hell do you even do that? So, well, he must have really been on
I
his
missed the
toes.
ground, coach.
What a fool! But yeah, man, it was that Jets game was rough one to watch, man. And basically
See,
all
that's what it's
the
gonna be
Bills
like.
do
Was
was
there anything to build off of though? Like anything fun with the young kids?
well, Adams looked good, the safety, he looked good. Coney Ely looked good, and the interesting thing about him is the Pats traded a second rounder for him to the Panthers, and then cut him because he wasn't seeing eye to eye with Belichick. So
What's
we
his
scooped
name?
him up. Coney Ely.
Tony Healy?
Ely.
Ely?
Yeah, he sacked Peyton 3 times in the Super Bowl, and yeah, everybody's been all on him since then. So, Belichick actually really liked his game and traded a second rounder for him, but in
I
practice
already
and
love
stuff,
this dude. If
They
he
didn't
doesn't
see-
see eye to eye
yeah,
with
he
Bill,
didn't-
he's my boy.
and
So if he doesn't see
he
eye to
was-
eye with winning, that's your boy. Fits in good with Bill, with the Jets.
Yeah, if you want to put it
Right
that
at
way,
home
that's
in New
fine.
York.
This dude's won 5 Super Bowls, and he's gonna go and tell him he's wrong. That is your boy,
Tony Ely, let him
Yeah,
know
That's
the
the
deal.
Jet way.
right?
Fuck you, Bill.
Bill knew
Yeah.
just where to send him to.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah, we
funny
scooped
until
him
you
up.
suit up on the Jets now.
Oh yeah. You're gonna play him, and he's gonna pick on him so bad.
Oh yeah, and Tom's
it's
gonna be
gonna be
letting
bad.
him know.
It's gonna be real bad.
Meanwhile, David Harris is going to blow up our backfield all game long.
If
He's
he
on the
plays.
Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah, we cut him and he went and signed with the Patriots.
About to win
He
a
was-
Super Bowl and then come back to y'all for 3 times the contract price, like Revis.
It was interesting though because they had such a lack of depth on D, and he barely even played on Thursday night. So I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They had this dude. What they trade a 4th and a 5th rounder for this dude named Cassius Marks, and he got burnt by Hunt for my fantasy points all night. I was pumped, but I mean, if this guy Cassius is out there, David Harris had 1 assisted tackle, and they were getting burnt all night. If he didn't get out there and make any plays, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, maybe then there was a good move by the Jets.
Saving
I
him
think
for
he
the
just
Jets.
wanted one last season.
Saving him for 2 games this season.
Yep.
That's it. You ain't making plays except for 2 times.
The Patriots didn't look very good on Thursday, and the end of the world. The Patriots are done. Tom Brady has been caught by Father Time, and those are the
curse,
headlines
man.
all over
That's
the
the
place.
Madden
Yeah,
curse.
you know.
I heard every take you could imagine on that. I heard that
Seriously.
they were done. I heard that this is what they needed to wake them up.
And coming
Yeah.
from the biggest Patriot hater in the world, shut up.
Yeah,
These
they're about to
These
win
dudes are
15
probably gonna,
games in a row.
they're gonna win. They're gonna be 14-2 at the end of the season, the number 1 seed. Like, just relax.
Alex Smith had the game of his life.
Yeah, people need to pump the brakes on Alex Smith too.
Yes, I do
Like-
think that there was one thing that was exposed, and that's with the Patriots, that they can be beat with a team that's got some speed over the top. But if you don't think Bill Belichick is going to design something to cover that up and hide that weakness, then you're out of your mind.
And that's the thing, Strub. The biggest thing with them was their 11 guys starting on D. I think 6 or 7 of those guys was brand new. And they just traded for, like I said, that guy Cassius Marks. 3 of them were just installed in the last preseason game. So these guys are not unified at all on D.
They only traded for him because he's got a great first name.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, man. He was all right. You could like his first name.
I mean, listen, Cassius Clay then became Muhammad Ali, who's the best boxer ever. It's the only other
I know
Cassius
where
I've
you were
ever heard
going.
of. So
I know where you were going with it. But he is a Patriot, so.
which means he's probably going to be really good.
Yeah.
Yep. Just give it a minute, man. That
And then
whole
go to the Jets when he's washed.
that whole team.
All right, so since we're talking about the Cavs, the Jets, Kev,
The
we'll
Cavs.
transition to the Cavs. I mean,
I hate that team.
listen, Kev said he could GM a team. He wants to do it. He says it in the
Oh, give it
open.
to
So
me.
change the name of the Jets to the Kevs and let them have at it.
The New York Cavs.
we'll be slinging touchdowns. Let me tell you.
Well, so sling some touchdowns. That's what happened this weekend with college football. The 3 quarterbacks that did not look good last week looked pretty good this week. Oklahoma went and got the big win over Ohio State, but the kid down in USC had another big weekend, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he bounced back. Darnold bounced back last week. He had 0 touchdowns and 2 picks. This week he went off, and it was cool because it was against Stanford, so it was actually against some good competition. He went 21 of 26 for 316, 4 touchdowns, but he still threw 2 picks. But he's just crazy aggressive, so I'm gonna just chalk that up to his aggressiveness and being young right now. But he could definitely throw the football around. Did you watch any of it?
I didn't get to see. I had to work the UNC game.
Yeah, that USC is for real, dude. Wow, they got 2 nasty running backs too, so they're going to be back in the play for sure.
Bringing it back to that Reggie Bush and Landell White days.
Yeah, dude, they got a team, man. So I'm excited about them. Just out here in Cali, just to have some buzz of a college football team is kind of cool. But
Yeah, you
the
need
other,
a Southwestern team to make college football kind of have that feel. Otherwise, it's dominated by the Southeast.
yeah, and the thing is, like, so the other guy in UCLA, so he's killing it too. He's off to the hottest start. Rosen went after he had that explosive comeback and threw for 4 touchdowns last week. He threw for 5 touchdowns this week. He went 22 of 25, 329, 5 TDs. But he played Hawaii. So I mean, as impressive as it is, he took care of business. I'm not sold on Hawaii though. And then what'd you say?
I was going to say they still didn't get 6 touchdowns like the Heisman frontrunner Lamar Jackson.
Oh, I'll get to Lamar, man. But I'm just these are the top 3 that they haven't really changed in any of the scouts or any of that stuff's mine. So I'm gonna keep updating you guys on these guys. But I got your dark horses and your guys that you need to watch that could be your next Dak or whoever, man. But Josh Allen is the 3rd guy. Everybody loves this guy. I was watching some shows this morning, and he's still number 1 on some of the popular shows. But I'm kind of falling off. Maybe it's because he doesn't have the talent around him in Wyoming, but he's also not playing top flight talent either.
I'm always skeptical of those kids that are at those mid-level colleges.
Yeah, he played Gardner Webb.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that hit a second ago.
Flags
Yeah.
came flying out quick on that one.
I have it right in front of
Stephon Diggs got lit up.
me. He don't care though.
No,
But
I could have helped that.
So Josh Allen played Gardner Webb, and he went 22 of 32 for 328, 2 touchdowns, no picks. So he was solid, but he has the
But it was
least
against
amount
Gardner
of
Webb.
yeah, and he has the lowest completion percentage, the lowest amount of yards, and lowest amount of touchdowns out of the 3 so far. So I don't know if it's talent around him or can we blame talent that he's playing. So we'll see. But you started off with the Oklahoma-Ohio State game. And this guy you got to keep your eye on now. This is two big-time performances from Baker Mayfield, man. He went 27 of 35, 386, and 3 touchdowns, and then slammed the flagpole in the middle of the field, man. This guy has 9 incompletions on the season. So this he's tearing it up right now.
What
We
was
need
he
to-
mad about that
Yeah, we
Ohio
need to pause
State
and talk
did?
about this flag thing real quick.
He was mad at something Ohio State did last time they played. Did they do the same thing or did they do something different?
They-
Bowl game,
so-
wasn't it?
No,
so.
Or was
last
it regular
year
season?
last year they played during the regular season, and they did a home and home series. So last year it was at the Sooners,
Right.
and I guess they won, and they like sang the alma mater at the 50-yard line, like on their logo or something, and he took offense to that.
Well, he should have. And he should have absolutely planted the flag on them when he beat them this year at their stadium.
Especially
Yeah,
after what he did,
He
man.
should not. He should
killed
not
it.
have come out with the tweet that Rich did, or was it just a tweet from a quote that he had?
No,
Rich?
he had a press conference
That was a press conference.
and he apologized for it.
There was no reason. No.
Yeah,
No.
that was probably from someone higher than him.
Were
I
people
don't
like
know.
hating on him for doing that? Like he was getting a lot of backlash about it?
I think
I
so.
didn't
Yeah.
s- I didn't see any,
I'm
but
sure,
I'm sure
because
he
it's
was.
not sportsmanlike anymore.
Yeah, but if somebody did that in the NFL, how do you think they would react the same, or do you think people would be like, "Oh, that's good, like competitive nature"? Like, do you think it'd
Oh, his ass just would have got fined by the NFL, and that would have been the end of it.
And everybody
He
was
would
Actually, he would have gotten
apologize.
fined. He would have
Fans
gotten
would've
fined
liked
some
it.
absurd amount, and then everybody would have been pissed at the NFL because all he did was just try and put a flag in the ground.
you gotta love that as a fan of that team. Even just, unless you're an Ohio State fan, I feel like as a fan in general, you gotta like that attitude.
Yeah, like I love
you
it.
know,
I think
yeah.
that kind of stuff is awesome.
Like that's the kind of guy you want on your team, you know? 'Cause you beat them, they
Yeah, as your
disrespected
quarterback
him
too,
last
man.
year.
Fired up.
yeah,
He'd be
right.
fired
They
up.
disrespected him last year. He took offense to it, and he came back and got up in that ass this year. Like,
Right? Who
And it's
doesn't
not
think
like
that type of shit is cool?
right.
It's not like he threw 3 picks. He threw 3 touchdowns on
Yeah,
it.
straight up.
Like that's what
led the
that's what
charge.
sports are all about. Somebody gets at you, you come back, you get at them. Let them know.
Right?
Yeah,
If you don't like it,
like,
stop
like-
it.
Yeah, and now Ohio State. I'm sure feels the same way he does. Like, I hope we can get that back at some point.
So
It's,
just
it's
because-
the back and forth.
Just because Ohio State didn't plant a flag in the middle of the field, but them going out there and basically getting it live on the middle of their field, that's okay. They didn't.
like
issue
that's
no
worse.
apology.
Yeah, I feel like that's worse if their whole team is partying at midfield, like singing fight songs.
Like regardless what song it is, you're all
Okay
out
with
there
that, too.
getting-
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too. I'm
They
good with
won. They
both.
get to do what they want. They can celebrate.
So this guy
Yeah, right.
answers back with a flag, and now it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's always the flag.
So who was your other dark horse besides Mayfield, Kev?
Well, Lamar's not really a dark horse, but so we'll save him. There's 2 other
Can't be.
guys. There's 2. Yeah, he's Heisman Trophy winner and putting up
The
putting
reigning
up
defender.
stats like he is. You can't ignore that. It started on Friday night. This dude, his name is Mason Rudolph. He's 6'5", 230. He's a senior out of OK State. And but his talent, what he played against was South Alabama, but he lit him up. 25 of 38, 335, and 3 touchdowns. This guy lit him up for 44 points, and then but he's also got I think he's top 5 yardage in NCAA as well. So he's someone to look out for. And then the
Yeah,
other
I've heard
guy,
a lot of Oklahoma State being the real popular dark horse pick to make the college football playoff.
yeah, it's all on him. This guy, and he tore it up last year too, going into the bowl season and whatnot. So he's just feeding off of it. So he he could definitely come out and definitely make a name for himself in the draft. And then this guy's a sophomore, but his name's Shea Patterson out of Ole Miss. He's second in the nation in passing with 918 yards. I mean, he's got more yards than Rosen, Darnold, Allen, or anybody down there in the SEC. So watch out for that dude. He's tearing it up. So he's sophomore. I don't know if he'll come out, but keep an eye out for him. But McCoy, Straub, Lamar Jackson tore your boys up.
I told you he was going to get 800 yards. He didn't tear him up as bad as I was expecting.
Okay. Yeah, prepare for the worst in that situation. You knew that.
I was watching
3 passing, 3 rushing, right?
And he missed so many open players that score could have been so much worse.
But it was great for me because there was this guy on UNC that said was getting interviewed, and he said,
Yeah.
Andre Smith, our linebacker.
I
I don't know why he decided
if he beats
needed
us,
to
wait a
open his
minute, no,
mouth.
we're gonna beat him. We're gonna stop him. He ain't gonna do nothing. We're gonna stop the run. We're gonna stop the pass. 3-3, baby.
No, North Carolina has got a historically bad defense. They are terrible. But let's go call out the Heisman Trophy winner. That's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah,
You
I
know
wanted
you ain't
to
about
get your
stop.
take on that because I know you guys love your UNC players.
I like
But
the
like I
confidence,
was saying in our group chat the other day, when they're not the best, I'm not gonna claim they are. I knew this shit was coming. They are not gonna win many games this season. I don't think they're gonna even make a bowl game.
I just
a
want to know
football
what
team,
happens
Kyle.
if he stopped
We were
Lamar
talking about the
Jackson. He would have been a
basketball
god.
We could talk about any team with North Carolina. I'm the same with all of them.
The sigh. He just gave the long sigh on him. You knew Louisville was going to light them up, though. I mean, yeah, like you said, North Carolina's defense always sucks, so they really had no chance of winning that game. They actually kept it surprisingly close, too.
No, they
They
did.
were winning
They
going into the
definitely-
fourth, weren't they?
They were, yep. Chaz Surratt looked good again in the first half.
Then he
Hurt
got
his
hurt.
hip. So then they brought in Harris, who actually made a couple of good passes. Also missed a couple open players, but kept the Tar Heels in the lead. And then the fourth quarter came around, and Lamar Jackson had enough of that shit. And in a 3-minute span, all of a sudden the lead went to a double-digit deficit.
I do want to say, for the younger crowd that listens to this, Lamar Jackson is nice, but he is not Michael Vick. So chill out.
Yes,
did you see
100%, not even close to Michael Vick.
Nobody
Did you see
is.
I put that question on Twitter. I put to Damian Woody because he said something about Lamar Jackson. So I put that question on there, and it was question mark guess question mark replied back to me and said he's I think he said he was Vic with a stronger arm or something.
Whoa.
And I'm like,
Stronger arm than Vic?
and I'm like, get out of here, dude. Like Vic's arm was
Vic
one of
would
the
flick
strongest
the ball
arms ever.
60 yards downfield. Like, that dude had a cannon. That's crazy.
That just
No,
lets
he
me
said
know you
Vic.
didn't know
He
what
said
you were
Vic
watching.
with better accuracy. Excuse me. But after
From what I saw on Saturday,
after that
that's
game
not
on
true.
Saturday, it was terrible, man.
You ever think Vic's accuracy was bad because he was too fast?
I think
Right,
Vic's
he was just moving
I
too
think his
fast.
accuracy was too bad because his arm strength was so big that he couldn't make the smaller throws.
Right between the two, like how fast he's moving and then throwing that cannon out there, that's got to be mad hard to put
He
where
just
you
didn't know
want.
how to like pull it back.
Yeah, like that's got to be like impossible to be running that quick and then just zip that ball in and right to a specific spot. Like,
Andy Reid kind of like calmed it down, so he started throwing those bombs to Deshaun, but he
Yeah.
was still not accurate because he was still out there. Everything was
brother
moving
actually-
1,000 miles an hour.
his brother actually was really good, like mid-range, and his arm wasn't as strong, but he actually, like mid-range and short range, he was really accurate.
Didn't they say he was faster than Mike?
Yeah, but he wasn't. I don't know if they were
Like
just
he may have
straight
been
line
40 line faster, but he wasn't football faster.
Yo, he
I've never seen somebody
single-handedly-
move like Mike Vick on a football field.
He single-handedly kept them in a national championship game against that FSU team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the only reason that
They were there to
Virginia Tech
begin
was
with.
ever any good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, that
NFL
dude's
teams
crazy.
couldn't stop him.
No.
You know how many people went there because he went there? Like, he was a recruiting tool for years.
Yeah.
Still
Still
is,
is.
probably. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, Like
Man,
the
yeah,
Hokies,
he's-
actually, what do the Hokies have going for them? Vick and Frank Beamer. Like,
Frank Beamer hasn't been their coach for a couple of years now.
yeah, but he's still, he's their legendary coach. Like,
They're actually a pretty good team. They're ranked 14th in the country right now. They won the they won the Coastal Division last year and went to the ACC Championship. Justin Fuentes is their head coach. They're pretty good again.
Yeah, they balled out on Saturday, and of course, in true fashion, their special teams and defense led the way.
Beamer ball.
Yeah, like it didn't go
Beamer
anywhere.
ball.
It's still
Cam
there.
Chancellor.
Yeah, that's right. They stayed with D-back that ended up going pro, but he was the only one that was ever really good.
Oh, D'Angelo Hall.
Is he still in the league?
Of course he's still in the league.
What team does he play for now?
I don't know. But I know
He's
he
not on
plays.
Washington anymore?
I think that's where he is still. That's where he was
Yeah,
last.
they ain't never getting rid of him. They love that dude.
I don't know.
Remember?
He was on the Falcons before that, right?
Yeah, remember when he
Yeah.
played the Falcons and he was talking to Ocho Cinco and he like shaved something in his head and Ocho Cinco just lit him up?
Yeah, I got 2 TDs on him, right?
Mhm.
That was when Ocho had the list, I think.
The list.
Might have
Oh,
been.
the list in his locker. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, that dude, man.
You have to tag him on Twitter with the snapshot of that. He'll probably reply to it.
Oh yeah, you know he will.
Yeah.
He's a safety with the Redskins now.
Nah, I moved to safety. Yeah,
Yeah, years
probably
ago,
still
though.
getting
Yeah,
burnt
he
by
moved to.
everybody.
I was gonna say he moved to safety years ago because he was tired of getting burnt, and he's still getting burnt.
And he keeps tearing something too. He always he's
pride.
playing like
Yeah.
5 or 6. He's playing like 5 or 6 games every year, and then it's out for the season.
That dude's still just making money from Dan Snyder, though. I don't blame him for still playing.
Not at all. Take that idiot's
Yeah.
money.
Keep playing me. I'm cool.
So, Kev, after week 2 of the college season, if the Jets did have the number 1 pick, who would your guy be? Who do we need to take?
Just based off of what I've seen and personalities and just stuff, I'm going with UCLA boy. I'm going with Allen.
Rosen?
Yeah, Rosen. I'm sorry. Because as Darnold would be the second guy, but he's got USC going against him, and I'm not taking another one of him. And they already interviewed him a couple times and like asked him about the Jets tanking for him and stuff like that, and asked him about what he thinks of his name on the back of Jets jerseys already, and he's kind of like the guy that's saying he might stay in the draft again and like ignore the Jets. So fuck him. I don't want to take him at all. I'll judge his play all year long. But I mean, the other 2 guys flat out said whoever takes them, Jets, whatever, they're all about just playing in the NFL like it should be. I'm not about these guys like dodging and trying to pave their way unless
Prima donnas.
unless your last name is Ball. I'm out on you. Forcing your way around. The way Ball did it was awesome. Yeah, Darnold, you ain't out here with the Darnold.
He ain't
the-
balling.
right, you ain't got the Darnold dig, so get out of here. So I'm going. I want it to be Josh Allen, man. He led that comeback. He's got 9 touchdowns in two
Wait,
games.
Allen or Rosen?
Rosen. Sorry, I keep getting them
Rosen.
confused because that's what's staring at me on my piece of paper. Rosen.
What year is he? A senior or junior?
He's a
He's a
senior.
senior at UCLA,
Oh, okay, so he doesn't have a
UCLA.
choice but to come out. Then.
Nah, just UCLA.
which is why he said he's cool with whoever
Yeah.
drafts him.
Right.
How old is he?
Chris Winkie.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Nah, he's like I think 22.
Oh, okay.
He's a normal senior. He's not
Yeah,
some
no.
old ass dude.
Not Winkie or Hansborough out there.
Nah, the only thing about him is he missed a big chunk of
Don't you
last
talk
year
bad
with
about
shoulder
him.
surgery.
I wasn't talking about him.
Don't
He's just
say anything.
told
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, don't.
Just pointing out.
You just say he was
Watch
seasoned.
yourself.
Yeah, he was seasoned.
Listen, he
Oh,
wasn't
widely
old.
fat.
He was from Missouri. They just take a little bit longer to develop there.
Yeah, apparently.
I hope we
Catching
don't have
this-
any listeners in
He
Missouri.
looked like Beaker.
Just
Wasn't that
catching
kind of
up,
like a
man.
21-year-old freshman?
he was 20, but yeah.
Who
There were,
Hansborough.
Hansborough.
was he really?
Yeah, son. And he
son.
went all 4.
I was watching college game the other night. And the guy's with the punter.
How
His
did I never
birthday,
know
his
that?
birthday was the next day, and he was going to be 29, and he was the starting punter.
Oh man.
That's crazy. Grown-ass men out here playing college ball.
But, like I feel like there should be an age limit on NCAA.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just, if you never went to college, say you could just decide when you're 30, like I'm
Let's
gonna go
go.
play college basketball now.
Let's go. Let's go.
Like,
sign
let me
up.
just pump my ass full of steroids for 2 years, get swollen, absolutely just jacked, and then go play a sport in college.
Let's do it, guys. We'll dedicate ourselves to the gym.
Right, we in there.
2 years from now, we're all on a team somewhere.
34-year-old freshmen.
Winning the Heisman.
I couldn't hang out with those kids.
No,
No, I just be
not
in the
a chance
playbook,
in
bro.
hell. We all got
I'll
to
just
go
be in the
somewhere.
playbook.
Rich, we got to go somewhere together. They could put us in a freshman dorm room in a suite that we have together. That's all. The kids can come, and by kids I mean like your guys' kids, not the college kids.
Not the college kids.
The college kids.
They're not allowed.
Get out of here.
Corny asses can stay out in the other rooms.
Why are your jeans so tight?
All right, show's dwindling down. We got to get into four corners. McCoy, you go ahead and start this one off.
I don't really got anything too much to talk about. I just wanted to
Just need
shout
one
out,
topic. That's all.
NBA 2K comes out on the 19th. Oh, you can get early pre-order access on the 15th, so I'll be getting it this Friday. I know Rich and Kyle, you ain't gonna get it, but hopefully Kev's on there, so we can get
I'm
on
gonna
to
get
my
on
part.
there.
I haven't
Yeah.
played a video game in about 6 years.
So
I'm
we
gonna get
got,
it, and you can guarantee I'm gonna create my Tonic Griffey character.
That's
Yo.
right. I did the face scan actually
McCoy,
this year.
Cyber McCoy.
Cyber Mick.
This was the first time the face scan actually gave me a person, so I was actually excited about
Is that
that.
what it
Felt
gave
like
you?
I had to use the guy.
You want to know?
Yeah.
You want to know what I'm really
You gotta
excited about?
use. You gotta use that picture in the snapshots.
That's what I was just gonna say. The fact that we're using
find it.
pictures now, that's going up there for this part.
Just go to the details of the group text. It should be out there.
Oh, I got it. I'm already on top of it.
Cyber Mick.
That's right.
Why
Balling
was
out
his
there.
head so big?
Balling out there. What the fuck? I don't know, but that was the first thing I did. I went into edit it and made his forehead like half the size. You need to get out of here with that. I should have.
You had the freshly shaven head. That's why it just.
I
Took
should
the
have just
whole-
kept it on and just rocked the LeBron like double thick headband. Like we good.
There you go. That's classic.
Rich,
said
go
you-
ahead with your corner, man.
Well, I was going to talk about the brownies, but
Go for it.
okay. So I'm enjoying learning about the Browns, right? Which is weird to say. And I check up on them. I read stuff about them. But there was a point yesterday during the game where I was like, I don't want to watch this. Like, I don't want to care about this at all. Like, I was looking around and, like, it got to the end of the game and it was close. And I was like, oh, I hope they win. And it's like, yeah, but, like, you don't really care. Like, it was such a weird feeling because I felt like I needed to care, but I really didn't want to care. So
I think that's the whole like trying to switch teams type stuff. Like if you're rooting for somebody that you have no investment in, it's kind of hard to really get that emotional attachment where you're like, come on, we got to win, versus, I really don't care.
Well, that's why I always kind of said, like, you can't like a team past a certain age because everything's rooted in your childhood.
Yeah, that
Because-
emotional attachment.
Yeah, like-
all of it.
Yeah, no, that's not a factor with me. I guess I
Nah.
just hang on to my childhood.
Yeah, I was out. We went out and we went to. I was out to eat for lunch, and then we got back, and Caleb's like, "Let's watch the football games on," and the Jets and Bills were playing. I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." Couldn't have cared less about the game. He's watching it all excited, like, "Oh, the Bills are doing good." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." Like I didn't even want to watch it either. I'm just like, "Yeah." And then the second game came on. We had the Seahawks and the Packers, and I watched the first half, and I was like, I could really care less about this.
It's really
it didn't
hard
help
to
that
watch.
first half sucked either. Like,
So when I was watching the Jets Bills, of course, my whole plan is tank, baby. I want to get that pick. But I'm sitting here watching it, and it's like, oh, we're close, and I can feel that fan inside of me want them to win for a second. Like I'm like, oh, I'll ride with this wave for a second, and then as soon as it went away, normally I would get so pissed, but I got so happy because I saw the bigger picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna be with you once the NBA season starts. When I start trying to watch the Bulls games, I'm gonna be like,
Oh
you know,
man.
the
I
same
was gonna
situation.
say.
Like, I want us to do good, but you know, we're trying to lose. So it's like
Yeah. It's like
it's
the
tough.
fan inside of you wants to win,
Yeah,
but
you never want to
you
lose. You know, regardless of it's whatever number one pick or
but
not.
you'll be
Like,
so pissed if you have that roster and then like what the 12th pick or something.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, if
you'll
they
be
somehow
like,
snuck into the playoffs in
Yeah.
the East next year, that would be
Just-
so bad.
yeah,
just because you had some top
It
flight
just sucks,
hustlers.
like- you can't
Given
watch
it-
your team to lose. Like,
That was what happened last year with the Lakers with me. Like they started 10-10, and I was all about them, and then they started to lose a lot, and I was like, "Yo, man," I was like, "What the?" Like I was pissed, and then like I had to take a step back and be like, "All right, like,
Yeah.
this is actually probably what's better."
it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take my corner next. I sent this in the group chat, and it was about the Bahamas and the ocean from when Hurricane Irma went over it. After it left, the ocean disappeared around the Bahamas. You guys remember this picture that I sent or the
Yep.
video?
Yeah, I guess that happened in another place too. In
It's
the
all
Gulf
It
over.
happened in the U.S. in the Tampa area.
Okay.
Like the water just disappeared around Florida, and I was reading on it because the water's not supposed to just disappear. It's the ocean. Where's it going? Like it's not okay for it to just disappear. And we're not talking about just a couple feet of it disappearing. These people were standing on a dock, and miles out to sea, it's just friggin' sand instead of ocean.
Yeah, they walked
So-
mad far.
So I went online and was trying to find some stuff on exactly what it is, and there's this guy that wrote an article about it, and it has to do with the strength of the storm, and it is so powerful that it literally has changed the shape of the ocean.
That's crazy.
The water didn't go anywhere. The water has just stayed in the
Just
ocean,
moved around.
but the ocean has changed its shape because this storm is so freaking massive and so strong.
It's wild. dude.
Anybody
And
in
there's
Florida,
another one. There's another
prayers
one right
for
behind
you.
it.
Holy hell, though. We need to stop pissing Mother Earth off.
Yeah, these storms are just getting crazier and crazier. It's scary.
Yep.
And you're the jackass all fired up for them to come up to you.
Hey, listen, where I am, I'm not flooding, so I'm in a sturdy building with no tall trees around me. I got no danger. Bring it on.
You're ridiculous, dude.
That's nice for you, but not the people in Florida and Texas that are on the coastal areas that got bombed.
Yeah, I know. My brother was in Texas and my father is in Florida.
It's crazy.
It is
Luckily,
crazy.
both of them have made it without any injuries or deaths or anything like that. But yeah, just a crazy ass phenomenon in weather that caught my eye, and then I saw it again today that it happened on our country as well.
I don't even know what I would do in those storms. Like, if you don't evacuate, like, you're just chilling there, you're gonna lose power mad quick. Like, what the hell am I gonna do? Like, get drunk, you know?
No power
Yeah.
is the worst.
Yeah, word. Like, what can you do?
And you see the traffic trying to leave those places? Like the whole state of Florida tried to leave at once, and then the whole freeway going north was just bumper to bumper. Like, are you even
Yeah,
gonna
see,
get out
I'd
in
rather
time?
just sit in my house with no power than have to sit in all that traffic, and then go stay in a shelter somewhere. I'm good. I'll stay in my house. I'll read a book.
That hawk was even shook.
Yeah,
Yeah, the whole
That hawk could be
Hurricane
my
hawk.
friend. I want some shit like that to happen to me. I
Harvey
need
the
some
Hawk.
random hawk to fly in my car and be my buddy.
That hawk was so scared.
He didn't look like he was trying to be anybody's buddy. He was just
Nope.
shook.
We would have been pals.
Of course he would.
He'd
They had
still
him-
be with me, chilling on
They
my
had him
shoulder
perched
right
up
now.
in front of the alcohol.
His face was too funny.
All right, Kev, bring us home.
All right, so I'm going to bring it back to the sport we haven't talked about in a while. I'm going to go to baseball, and I'm going to answer back to McCoy's little text in there about reminding us about Aaron Judge's historic strikeout rate. And I'm just going to let
You
you
hit a
know that at
bomb
the,
yesterday, though.
exactly at the same time, my man has hit the most home runs by a rookie since Mark McGuire. Now he's at 40, the only rookies ever to do that. And he just set the rookie record for walks in a season. So I'll take two positive rookie records over the strikeout rate. And I also saw this thing that I thought was pretty interesting. It was like a baseball clip about baseball changing kind of like football and basketball have changed. Like football is all about passing, basketball is all about the 3-point shot now. It's kind of, they've changed these young guys' swing and their swing angle versus major league pitching. They're saying major leaguers aren't pitchers anymore, they're just hard throwers. Like you got a couple guys that'll throw some junk, but a lot of these guys are just out here throwing it as hard as they can. So they've changed these young guys' swing angles, and they're willing to take 2 strikeouts and take that 3 home run bomb. So I thought that was interesting, and it kind of connected with our Aaron Judge love-hate relationship we've had going on throughout the year.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% correct with the philosophy. It started about 3 years ago, and even at the collegiate level, I know with Coach Fox and UNC baseball, they literally told the coaches, or the coaches told the players that same exact thing. We would take a strikeout over contact in a weak ground ball. I want you to try and drive the ball into a gap or over the fence. It's better that you try and do that because if you make contact, something's going to happen. If you hit a weak little ground ball, well, that's an out just the same as a strikeout is. So the philosophy is definitely changing.
How many strikeouts does Judge have?
Oh, Jesus.
1,000.
It's like well over 100.
Is he gonna set the record for most strikeouts ever in a season?
No.
Not that bad.
Not
I
yet.
think that record
Not
gets
there
set
yet.
every other year now, though.
Not really.
Yeah,
Don't people
it's
strike
by,
out,
Like,
right?
it's by
Yeah,
big
well,
time
so
home
that's
run
that's
hitters.
part of what we were just saying is because of the try and hit the home runs, the strikeout numbers are way up as well.
Because
So what's he gonna end the season right around 50 home runs probably then?
No, he's not.
He has-
He's only hit
He has
eight
41
since.
now.
He's
Yes.
only hit 8 since the All-Star break. In 2 months, he's hit 8.
All right. So what if he gets hot?
So in
and,
3 weeks,
has
he's
a
not
hot
hitting
week?
9. I don't
Yeah.
see him getting hot though. That's
But
the
what if he
point.
gets hot and hits 5 in a week?
If
he's right there.
if he does, then yeah, maybe he gets to 5, but to 50. But I don't see him getting hot all of a sudden. This
All
isn't
right.
this isn't an anomaly that he's just going to all of a sudden break out of. He's a young guy that teams have adjusted to. They stopped throwing him that fastball in. They started throwing him sliders. He's not picking up the spin, and he's chasing balls out of the strike zone. I don't see that changing in the next 3 weeks.
So even so he finishes the
Judge
season.
Judge has got 167 strikeouts right now, which is the 3rd most in a single season in Yankee history, 2nd most in Major League Baseball behind Miguel Sano, who has 170.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, but the
So,
record
I mean,
is like Adam Dunn with 220 or something like that, right?
Adam Dunn. So So Kyle, you don't think his season is a success, or?
I don't know. It's tough because you were so good at the beginning of the year, but you are so bad for the second half of the year. I don't see how you can take and not be negative, but at the same time you can't be completely negative because he did do some good. I think it's a rookie season. It was a decent one to go and build off of, but he needs to make a lot of changes to his game in order to be successful.
Don't
because if he
overlook
doesn't,
the defense.
if he doesn't
though.
make the changes to his approach at the plate, if he doesn't pick up those breaking balls, the second half is who he's going to be as a player.
Is he a good defender, Kev?
Yeah,
No.
he is. He's out there. He covers so much range, and he's got a rocket for an arm, diving catches. He's nice, dude.
What position does he play?
Right field.
Oh, he plays the outfield too. Isn't he big as hell?
Yeah, dude, and he's
6'7".
got a cannon.
I just
He's
saw
got a
that.
Out there,
cannon.
damn. Yeah, word. I mean, I feel like you can't say the dude hits 40 home runs. Like, there's always a place on a major league roster with that, right?
But
There's
teams,
9
what you're
hitters.
missing is that what you're missing is that teams have adjusted to him. Like
It's
he hit
time for
those
him to
home
make
runs
his
because
adjustment now.
he was a rookie. Exactly. In this offseason, he needs to make those adjustments. If he doesn't, the pitchers are going to continue to pitch him this way, and he's not going to be able to hit the ball.
Because this is what happened to him last year. He came up at the end of the year when we brought him up as like his first taste of the majors, and he struck out 80 times. And then he made his adjustment, came back, and went on a tear in the first half of the season. And then people adjusted to him. So now we're waiting for his act. He's up to bat now. Let's see what his counter is. If he doesn't do it, then no, he'll be a 200 Adam Dunn guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and that's why I was saying at the All-Star break, instead of crowning this kid who through a half a season has done what he did
You were so
as
mad.
the next god, let's just chill. Let's fucking see what he can do for a couple of years.
We want the major. We want that was the MLB dude too. You know what I mean? We want them.
That
to
was
do
that was also him being a Yankee.
that too. But the MLB is in the shadows of everybody. So if they can promote something, they need to. You can't really hate on them for that because
Well, but I can hate on them. I can hate on them for their choice because they have other guys that they could go and try and make the
but
face.
they're
Like,
not.
put Bryce Harper out there, but they don't want Bryce out there because Bryce says some controversial shit they don't like.
Yeah,
What did he
and-
say?
I mean, they
Bryce
want
doesn't
guys
like the old school baseball.
Oh,
He
no.
doesn't like the unwritten
Bryce
rules. He
Harper's
wants
the
it to
man,
be.
son.
Yeah, I like.
Besides
Bryce
getting the
wants,
cornrows.
Bryce wants people
No,
to
even
flip their
that is
bats
why.
and do some crazy stuff and have
You
fun
got the
playing
Bronson.
baseball. Major League Baseball and the old white men don't want to hear that. They want the traditional respect and don't say things, that kind of stuff.
Well, that's
And
why
the
So of
best
course
player-
MLB isn't going to put him as the face.
Well, that's
And the best
stupid on
player
their
in the
part.
league is boring as hell. Like Mike Trout is boring, right?
Yeah. Like Mike Trout could
He's so
potentially
good,
end up
though.
being one of the
Like-
best baseball players ever.
Mike,
Like I think he
But that
already
dude
is.
is so stale as a personality.
dude,
He's
he
been
can
in
walk
the
in here
league-
right
I
now
was
and I
just
would
about
have
to
no
say that.
idea who he was. Like,
What has he been in the league? I think 5 years, right, Straw?
What's that?
Has he been in the league for 5 years or longer?
He has won 3 MVPs. This is his
And
fifth
he was,
year, yeah.
and he finished second in the
Second
other
in
2
the other
years.
one.
He didn't.
Yep.
So you got a guy that's been either first or second MVP for 5 years, and like you said, you wouldn't even know if he walked in the room. And
no
Yeah.
clue.
I live out here, and there's like I used to see Albert Pujols billboard signs more than I would see Mike Trout.
See, and that's the crazy thing to me because we've talked about it with like Kawhi Leonard, and he's not like out there in the public and stuff, but at least he does the local media. Apparently, Mike Trout isn't even doing local stuff,
He does some stuff here and there, but it's mostly TV.
but not a lot. I think it kind of speaks to his personality because in college, he didn't end up going, but he committed to ECU. Like this dude was a high recruit, and he picks a low
Eastern
mid-level
Carolina.
school because he just wanted to be somewhere. I mean, ECU is a really good program. They were in essentially what the Elite Eight is 2 years ago for baseball, but it's not a big, huge school. It's
No,
not a lot of coverage. He wanted the quiet place.
Well, I feel like as far as like doing the like endorsements and stuff in baseball, you can make up for that with your contract because
Oh yeah, those
there's no
dudes
salary
make so
cap,
much
but
money.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's no
dude's
limit.
gonna get what, a $400 million contract probably. So
probably.
it's, he'll make up that cash. Unlike football, where you need that
He signed a
endorsement
$400
money.
million deal. You're not really that worried about the $3 million
Right.
endorsement deal.
Yeah, like what the endorsement companies, what they're offering you. It's like, yeah, I guess I'll take this extra money. Like this is clearly like 1% of my base contract from the team, but I'll do it anyway.
And then you got
I
a
wouldn't
guy
want to be
like-
bothered with it either.
I just read the article. You got a guy like Dak Prescott who makes more money in endorsements than playing football. It's so opposite, man.
Yeah,
Baseball,
the
football.
NFL is screwed up. These players, like, they have every right to strike when the CBA comes up for more money.
Well, they were idiots and went and signed an 8-year deal, so they got a little ways that they got to wait for that one. It's a topic for another day, though. We're going to end this one. Thank you guys for joining us. The fellas are out.
Peace.
Peace.